This is the Hollywood Outsider, weekly entertainment podcast. For this week, we are going to be reviewing Zero Dark 30 and Gangster Squad. We're going to look at upcoming releases Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, Movie 43, and John Dies at the End. Our From the Outside In topic this week is the internet killing film. We're going to look at, well, it's actually a little more detailed. Latest in movie and TV news, including our own trivia segments. My name is Aaron Peterson, and with me today are my fellow host, Justin McCumber.
Hey, Aaron, how are you doing, man?
I am wonderful, doing a podcast. Brian Williams.
I just quit.
You idiot. I don't know which accent's worse, his or yours.
His, obviously.
And Scott Clark.
Hey, what's shaking, brother?
Not much. What is new with everybody? Has everybody watched the magical Golden Globes? Because we all love award shows.
I did not.
No.
Nobody?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yep.
Isn't that fun to watch? Because it's like the drunken Oscars.
Yeah, it's a lot more laid back. It's not as stuffy, and everybody's kind of like roaming around, just kind of coming and going as they please. It's a little bit more laid back. I like it.
If you wait around till roughly about 2 hours in, you start seeing people fall over. and it's the one show because I don't know if you guys notice this, but it's film and TV. The TV people are way the fuck in the back.
Well, because they're the bitches.
Yeah, they are.
And why the fuck is that? Why is it that the guys who work constantly get to have to sit in the back of the bus while these fucking prima donnas that maybe have to film 1 or 2 movies a year if their, bank account gets a little under $100 million, they're the celebrities? I don't quite get that. If I was TV, I'd say, fuck you bitches, I'm sitting up front.
TV collective.
I'd get my whole cast, get all Modern Family just bull rushing through the middle.
You go to the bathrooms and it says movies and then TV people.
Wow.
Separate water fountains.
Is that foreshadowing for maybe something from our trailer park?
No, not at all. But you guys did see that Ben Affleck won Best Director for Argo at the Globes, which is cool. I love his work in that. But neither he nor Tarantino were actually nominated for the Oscar.
That is bullshit.
That is.
If I was Affleck, I'd just take out a page of the LA Times or something with me flipping Hollywood off.
Some people won't get past Daredevil, man.
Well, I'm not saying he necessarily has to win, but didn't even get a nomination.
Yeah, it's almost like that's the club, and he got the Directors Guild Association, which is generally the people who determine who gets nominated for the Oscars, which is kind of surprising. I'm convinced J-Lo was part of that committee, and she just took his name and pitched it. Said, "Oh no, you're not here."
Well, hell, she got more out of that whole thing than he did.
He lost.
She probably drug him down a bit.
He lost his career because he probably saw her there, and Jennifer Garner's looking across the room. I got alias your ass right here, right here. And also, real quick, Die Hard 5 is rated R. So people were complaining and screaming that the last movie, Live Free to Die Hard,
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker,
was rated PG-13. This one's getting a full R, so you'll get a lot of F-bombs if you're looking for it.
I didn't think the last one was bad, but I am excited this one's R instead.
I liked the last one. But I could see why people say it's not really a Die Hard movie. Yeah. Except for the elevator scene.
Right. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know what the hell people's problem was with that movie.
Because it wasn't him in the middle, all by himself, stuck in the middle of something. I don't know.
Is that the one where he wrestles a harrier?
Yeah, that's probably where people got lost. That did take it a little bit further. Let's jump into movie news. Warner Brothers has hired James DeLapo to write a reimagining of Homer's The Odyssey, which everybody's familiar with that poem, yes? And set it in space.
Well, this is nothing new, though. I mean, Hollywood has been inspired by The Odyssey from, hell, the beginning. Shit, look at movies like Big Fish. Big Fish is based on a book, but both of those things took a lot of their inspiration from the Odyssey. Hell, the entire "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" is the Odyssey just set in the South.
Mississippi, yeah.
Yeah, in Mississippi. So it's not as though this has not been, thought about or attempted, or it's not inspired other things. The Odyssey is one of those stories that will be forever green with inspiring people. So the fact that they're putting it in space, why not?
It's a really good point, actually.
Maybe they could incorporate some of the songs from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" Sorry.
I am a man of constant sorrow.
Wow.
You boys are about as smart
I
as
think
a
we
bag
lost
of hammers.
listeners.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
We lost a couple of subscriptions.
There you go. Timur Bekmambetov.
Whoa! Whoa!
Easy for you to say.
I'm applauding myself.
I was looking forward to you effing that up, but nice work.
Timur Bekmambetov has signed on for Heat Seekers, produced by Michael Bay, about an ex-military pilot who comes up against a group of air pirates.
I guess they hired a guy that kind of polished up the script a little bit. It used to be a story about a gang that was attempting a complicated tower takeover using like parachutes and gliders and stuff, kind of like I guess like Batman did in one of those movies. Mm-hmm. But
One of those films.
One of those.
yeah, one of those Batman. I think it was it the second one there that it went to like Hong Kong or something?
You want the second one? There's been like 14 of them. You want to pick one? Pick a series.
It's one of the Christopher Nolan ones. How's that?
Okay.
Which is the one where
The Dark Knight.
whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway,
don't worry. It's not a movie
40s.
podcast, Brian. Just guess.
I'm just rolling the dice here, man. That's all. Throwing darts. But anyway, it's about, like, say, former military pilot, and he's kind of given the job of infiltrating a gang of aerial pilots or pirates.
Pilates?
Pirates, whatever.
A Pilates group?
So, yeah, exactly. They're really into the exercising thing.
Am I the only one who reads Air Pirates and thinks Zeppelins and dudes with sashes?
Yeah, kind of.
Leather jackets, the big goggles.
mustaches.
So.
Arg.
Heat
I mean,
Seeker's
arg.
Heat Seeker's also my nickname from a junk.
Who wants to see it? God, let's move on.
Like, look, one of the good things going forward is that one of the writers and producers from the Fast and Furious franchise is on board with this. So that
Well, we like Timur. I like Michael Bay. Shit, this is good to go.
yeah, I mean, you got one of my favorite, actually, really two of my favorite directors. Timur and Michael Bay. You put them together for one movie, boom.
There's gonna be
Yeah,
a lot of slow motion shit.
There's going to be a lot of slow motion explosions. Yeah.
And people standing up and the
The shirts
circling.
flowing in the wind.
There you go. Like, oh my God, I'm so sore because I just crawled out of a plane that flipped 47 times.
I love how you guys conveniently just called him by his first name instead of even attempting.
Bekmambetov.
See,
Bam.
that's 3 times Aaron's done it now.
It's so natural. Oh my God.
Warner Brothers has bought the rights for Dark Invasion, a novel based on, I thought it was something else, a novel based on true events in
your heat seeker?
in 1915, where American soldiers committed
Sometimes people calls.
a novel based on true events. And God, we're wrong. I'm sorry, people that are listening. I'm sorry. A novel,
Sounds like one of your date nights.
a novel based on true events in 1915, where American soldiers committed acts of war, covert acts of war, to help its allies and hopefully remain out of the war. Bradley Cooper is going to star in this.
This story is really interesting to me for a couple of different reasons. Number one, this book that it's
number
based.
one, Bradley. Number two, Cooper. Enough said.
All right.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. First of all, this book isn't even out yet. The book is being published next year on September 11th, which they did that on purpose because the story takes place when there's
Yeah, I get it.
actual, attack on American soil. Also, it's like you mentioned, it's a true story. It's nonfiction. This is all real stuff that happened. When I first started glancing over this story, I was another war movie, but this looks like, since it's something that actually happened, it could have, and it has a very dark tone to it. It sounds really interesting to me. I'm excited about it. Not just because of Bradley Cooper.
That's exactly why I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm not. He's somehow connected to Jennifer Lawrence. I'm hoping by liking him, I'll get to her. It's a plan. I like this concept. I like when they go back to past stuff, and this is something I haven't seen explored before. So
I've never even heard it. I had no idea that was a real thing.
well, I can believe it. We did everything we could to stay out of the war because we're lazy.
Yeah. Wait. We wanted to stay out of the war?
That's why they did this. They were trying to keep America out of the war by trying to bring down the enemy without getting involved.
Yeah.
So what happened to us in the past 100 years?
We just decided to start taking
Well, it
everything
wasn't
over.
exactly 100 years. It was more like 40, 50, maybe.
Well, no, this story takes original events were in 1915, so.
Yeah, I'm no mathematician, Brian. That's about 97 years. 96.
This is about World War I,
98.
but hell, even World War II, we didn't get into it until Japan forced us. So, we did have a history of staying out of
my
shit.
point was that we weren't war hungry in the early 1900s.
Oh, all right. Well,
that was my point. We didn't become like war, drooling until about what, the 50s or 60s?
No, the
Not
80s.
until Halliburton was created.
Wow. All right, Democrat. Let's move on. Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Jesus.
Pirates of the Lower Mississippi. According to Justin.
Pirates of the Caribbean 5 is moving forward with Disney hiring Jeff Nathanson to helm the screenplay, and it will be hitting theaters July 10th, 2014.
Yeah, a lot of people are probably kind of wondering why they would be doing another one, considering how ill-received On Stranger Tides was received here in the States. But the fact of the matter is that it actually made over $1 billion when you include overseas money. So there is still plenty of interest for the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, in particular Captain Jack Sparrow. So it isn't all that surprising that they'd be looking to do a Pirates 5. But what they're wanting to do now is get rid of the writers who had been involved in the first three and the fourth one, and they're introducing a new guy into the franchise named Jeff Nathanson to bring in a little bit of a fresh voice, which, on the surface, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good to bring in new blood to freshen things up a bit, but after looking over this guy's biography, the movies that he's written, not a single one of them kind of leads me to believe he could write a pirate movie. I mean, Speed 2 Cruise Control is about as close to the water as this guy seems to have gotten, and that movie sucked ass. But he's written the Rush Hour sequels, Catch Me If You Can, which is a pretty good film. The Terminal, which I kind of enjoyed. He was involved in writing the story for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, so make of that what you will, as well as Tower Heist. So, the guy's got some writing chops. Does he have the writing chops to write dialogue for a pirate film? We'll have to see. But as little as I did like the fourth film, I'm always up for giving people another chance to come back from a bad movie. So sure, I'll be around. I'll be interested to see how this one develops.
I thought you liked On Stranger Tides.
No, I liked On Stranger Tides.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Now, the first three, I think, kick complete ass, and I kind of wish they had just stopped at those three. But seeing as they're not, let's see what they do. All right.
I didn't like the third one at all, but I really liked On Stranger Tides. Well, I didn't, so yeah.
Well, you're fucking wrong.
It's my
third one. Yeah, the third one did a decent job, pretty good job of tying everything together.
No,
and then the fourth one was just like, all right, why is this here? It's kind of like Aaron at a party. Who invited this guy?
Oh, Machete Kills open September 13th.
We'll change the subject.
I am changing the subject. And it's finally locked down. And also, was big news throughout the week. Jurassic Park IV finally got a release date of June 13th, 2014. The film doesn't have a confirmed cast or director yet, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, who cares? Apparently, this is a common theme now. All of a sudden, we're setting a date. Bam, we're staking our claim. We're releasing on this date. By the way, who's making this shit? I don't know. You know? Who's going to be in it? I don't know. You don't know. Who's making it? I don't know. To me, that's just like a pretty aggressive. I mean, we're talking a year and a half. This 3D movie that's obviously loaded with special effects is coming into play. But they don't have a director. I'm assuming they have a script, so I guess that's a something.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have any actors.
They are talking about Spielberg might do it because he fell off of Robopocalypse or that's on hold or whatever it is. So they're considering, or Spielberg is considering doing it, which I don't want him to do because honestly, I think he's past the feel for adventure movies era. I mean, I think Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull prove that.
So he's more about doing boring movies about four-legged animals? Is that what you're saying?
What? No.
Do
he's doing like historical epics and dramas and things that appeal to him. I don't think he should do a Jurassic Park movie. I think they should bring in a new filmmaker. I think they should get rid of the old cast, unless you're bringing back Jeff Goldblum, because I love him. And just go a completely different route. Stay off that damn island. Don't bring lizards to the city. I don't know what the plot should be, but it shouldn't be either one of those two things. I think they should make Jurassic Park without the park. That's what I'm saying. Jurassic
China?
Yeah, there you go. Take out China. I'm fine with that. That's
all
right. They'll make their money
Please direct
back.
all comments towards feedback at...
No Chinese people are listening. Not anymore.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park. Beware the Ides of March, which is kind of what should open the trailer for Halle Berry's new movie from WWE Films. Yeah, WWE as in wrestlers.
Is it a WWE film? I didn't see that.
I didn't either.
It is. It is.
What?
And one of the guys that they're touting as being a star is only in there for literally a quarter of a second. He's a wrestler also. Anyway, it's called The Call, and it stars Halle Berry playing a 911 caller whose mistake leads to someone being killed, but she gets a shot at redemption when the killer kidnaps somebody else, and then she recognizes his voice. Seriously, I mean, we couldn't find another comic book sci-fi fanboy trailer to play this week.
Nope. I actually liked the trailer.
Did you?
I did. I think
were you drunk at work? Or
Again?
Again. HR keeps telling me.
I mean, because Halle Berry is almost like she's really dipping into Val Kilmer territory.
Look, every once in a while, you got to watch those cheesy ass thrillers where you know everything that's going to happen, but it's still like fun, stupid popcorn entertainment. That's what this looks like.
I don't have to.
Well, you don't
No,
have
I don't.
to. It's not something I would pay to see, and I feel bad because Halle Berry, and I think they threw up the Oscar winner shit on that, and they really shouldn't have. Because it's got nothing to do with anything that happens in that movie, and that big fluffy hair she's got going on is really Otay, and
Wow.
I just don't like it. She's a gorgeous woman. Fix that. I liked it though. I think it looks stupid, ridiculous, but it's dumb fun. It's dumb. It looks like dumb fun.
Well, you can take my wife to see it because.
But I really like Cellular. Did you ever see Cellular? That was a really stupid concept, and I like that movie.
For a one and done kind of thing, yeah.
Well, I don't want a sequel. Return call.
Wow.
What?
All right. Okay. No. I'm just. All right.
Hey,
I'm just kind of caught off guard by your rationale, but that's okay. Hey, man, I'm not here to judge you.
yes,
That's
you are.
all.
That's exactly why you're here, Brian.
Look, yeah, but by me telling you I'm not here to judge you, that's me judging you. And
That's like when you say, well, Aaron's Aaron. That means Aaron's an asshole.
right.
I'm sorry you don't like Oscar winner Halle Berry.
No, I love Oscar winner Halle Berry. I'm not sure I love The Call Halle Berry. Or that other beach deep diving
Oh
movie
God,
or
that
something
looks
she did recently.
so bad. Dark Tide or something like that, or whatever that was.
I rest my case. Val Kilmer. She's the female Val Kilmer.
What
Anyway,
else
the
we
call
got?
opens March 15th. If you didn't catch the Ides of March reference earlier, for all of you non-literary folk out there, if you're going to do a Mount Rushmore of the most important baseball players to ever live, you would have to put the subject of our next movie on that Mount Rushmore thingy. Anyway, 42 is that's actually the title. It's about the first black Major League Baseball player, Jackie Robinson. And personally, I'm excited to see this because as a baseball fan, I'm actually aware of some of the things that he had to deal with. Not only the obvious, segregation and of course, racism, but even the things such as like death threats and basically the emotional toils and everything that he and his family had to go through. So not only was Jackie Robinson a great baseball player, I mean, he was actually a great man to put up with the stuff that he had to do and to still maintain the level of performance that he actually did. So, I mean, and I'm actually anxious to learn more about him, just on a personal level. I don't know about you guys. I mean, because I'm coming from this from like a baseball fan perspective. I know you guys are probably more from a movie perspective, movie guy type of thing.
No, I actually feel the same way, Brian. I'm really interested to see because I know very little about this story. I'm more of a football guy than a baseball guy, but I love baseball movies. So, and I think it's something that a lot of younger people should see because although racism is pretty rampant in America, it's not to the level that it was at this time. I mean, we take it for granted that this was the first that there weren't any African American or minorities in
less
baseball.
than 100 years ago, the guy couldn't play without
right. And today, the majority of athletes are minorities, and I mean that's a standard. People are so used to that. That's a foreign concept that you couldn't play baseball unless you're white. I think it's an important move for a lot of people to see. And I think Harrison Ford looks fantastic too. By the way, when he does his little speech he looks like a curmudgeon old guy. Like he is
a curmudgeon old guy.
Yeah,
but you're right. I mean, he doesn't look like a Harrison Ford character.
Yes, he doesn't look very handsome and eloquent.
Right. He looks much. I know he's getting up there, but he looks even older than he does, and he's acting. Much
but
older
those Indiana Jones wrinkles are really a lot deeper now.
I couldn't agree more. It's one of those movies where I think everybody should see it because it is a really good story. I hope they tell it well because the actual story of Jackie Robinson is phenomenal. I mean, he overcame a lot, and what he had to deal with was ridiculous. And I like that they seem like they're addressing it, and it's more about that than it is how talented he was because I think pretty much everybody knows how talented he was. Not many people know what he had to go through to show off that talent.
Right.
And he changed the game of baseball forever.
Absolutely. And there's a reason why every year and I don't know if most people that listen to this podcast realize this, but there's a day every year where they pay homage to Jackie Robinson, and every player on every team wears the number 42.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So it is a very culturally significant thing, whether you want to count the movie, whether this is a very, very big issue, very, very big thing. And I this is one that I can't recommend enough to go see if for no other reason than historical significance.
Okay. When's it come out?
42 opens on April 12th, which is the day before my birthday. Just saying. Every
year you have to remind us when your birthday is.
Yeah. Hey, anytime a movie opens on April 12th or something like that, or around the 13th, that's, I got to throw that in there. So if you want to send your gifts, then just email us at thehollywoodoutsiders.com or, feedback at thehollywoodoutsiders.com or reach us on Twitter at H_outsider. And you can also go to facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsiders. And don't forget, you can also get your I'm a Ho t-shirts at thehollywoodoutsiders.com.
You can also watch these trailers on The Hollywood Outsider, too.
Stump the Ho.
Now let's go to Stump the Ho, where each week one of our hosts poses a trivia question to the remaining hosts in an attempt to stump their fellow hoes and all of you listening. This week, it is Justin's turn. Justin, what?
And I know he's got a well thought out question.
Yeah, he said.
I do. I've actually, I spent the last week trying to research this and come up with the best question I could possibly come up with. So, after extensive and I might add exhaustive research, I've come up with the following question.
I am ready.
Jason Statham, of whom we will speak more of later, has done an incredible number of riveting films. But did you know that in 2 of them, he's played a character that talked to himself in an elevator? That's right. In 2 of them, his character has talked to himself in an elevator. One of them was Revolver. Which was the other? Was it A, Collateral, B, Crank, C, Snatch, or D, The Italian Job? Brian?
I'm going to go with Crank.
Scotty?
I'm going to go with Crank as well.
And Aaron?
I'm going with Collateral just because I didn't see that coming.
All right, well, as usual, Aaron is wrong. And as usual, Brian is correct. B, Crank. In both of those films, he talked himself in an elevator.
I was
there you go.
Wasn't there a kind of a unknown actor named, oh God, what was his name? Tom Cruise that played Collateral in Collateral?
That was, might have been, but this is a different film.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Yeah, thanks, asshole.
And
I'm trying to fuck on my question.
No, I'm just trying to really make Aaron look even more stupid. That's all.
Well, he does a good job of that on his own.
You're right.
Now let's go to the big screen where we review any new releases. First one up is Zero Dark 30, which Scott and myself saw. Zero Dark 30, you guys are familiar with this is, right? The Bin Laden flick, which apparently several people I know had no idea it was about Bin Laden. I don't know how you missed that, because in the trailer, where's the last time you saw Bin Laden? That's every commercial, right? But whatever.
What did you think it was about?
Huh? It looks like a military thriller. Well, it is, about Bin Laden. Anyway, it's a Catherine Bigelow-directed film. She directed The Hurt Locker. And it covers about a decade of work that a team of military and CIA operatives did. And it uses the character of Maya, played by Jessica Chastain, as a central figure, spearheading the efforts to find Osama bin Laden, that guy that orchestrated the September 11th attacks. Just in case somebody didn't know that. Through torture, drop leads, changing agendas, the film follows it through and culminates in roughly about, a 30-minute finale showcasing the raid on bin Laden's compound.
Mm-hmm.
The story itself, I mean, that's pretty much the whole story. That's all it's about. I thought this was really like watching a documentary more than a cohesive story. Mm-hmm. I realize the film's getting tons of attention because of the subject matter, but the story is all over the place. I don't really consider it a solid narrative. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like it flows. What did you think, Scott?
Well, I mean, that's kind of how her movies are. Hurt Locker was very much the same way, I think. That almost felt like a documentary style free roaming camera kind of thing, where, and this is the same thing, where it's not like a narrative, like you're saying. It's very much like you're. Well, obviously, it's based on true information. We don't know how true, obviously, but yeah.
There's conflicting reports. Is it true? Is this true? Right. Is it not true?
And it's very controversial. We'll probably never know how accurate that is.
Well,
but
the one thing I've read is that Maya is a culmination of character of real people, and basically she's there just to have one person to follow through the whole story.
Right. Well, and the film even says at the beginning that everything is based on accounts of people. So everything that is in this movie, someone said it happened. How accurate that is we'll never know. Mm-hmm. But I look at it as a movie. It feels like a documentary, but at the end of the day, it's a movie.
What'd you think of the acting? I think, honestly, Jessica Chastain, I think she gives a wrenching performance. As Maya, she's the one character the movie centers on, and she does a phenomenal job.
She's obviously the standout role in the film. There's some other couple cool performances, but she does a full range of emotion. And I was worried when the movie started. I thought it was going to be this timid, boring, girl in the CIA or whatever. And she goes on opposite ends of the spectrum. And there's one scene in particular where I wanted to stand up and cheer for her. It was really
Is it a
powerful.
spoiler to say what that is?
When she's telling off the one head guy.
Oh yeah. When she's trying to get things done and they won't listen, so she's all up in their face.
Seriously, it was like a "you go girl" moment. Like
Did she really just "you go girl"?
You go girl.
Wow. It reminded me very much, if you haven't seen Homeland, Brian, you would relate to this. Claire Danes' Carrie from Homeland.
Yep.
It's very much like in that vein. Where she's a little nutty, but she's all about getting it done, and she doesn't care who gets in her way, and she's gonna make it happen. Mm-hmm. Very determined, focused, and never someone that needs to be thought of as a woman. Those are my favorite female characters, the ones that you don't even have to classify them as female.
Right.
That's why you don't have to say that you go girl. But hey, the rest of the cast, throwaways. I couldn't tell you, and I don't care about any of them. Jason Clarke as Dan is about the only one that really stood out. He's the torturer who turns diplomat, and he kind of gets Maya going on the case. But otherwise, all the roles are filled by character actors like Kyle Chandler and Harold Perrineau from Lost. And those blink or you miss them performances. I mean, literally, they're gone. You never think about them again.
Mm-hmm. Or Sons of Anarchy.
Well, that was one season. Nobody else stands out. I mean, it's really Jessica Chastain and everybody else. Mm-hmm. What did you think about the production? How did you think they handled it?
I thought that they did a really good job of conveying the tone of how things are, kind of over there in Pakistan is where it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
it was all over the Middle East.
Right, it was all over. But I mean, it kind of the final act, like you mentioned, that last 30 minutes with the final raid was very intense, and I thought it felt a lot more of how you would expect a raid like that to go, as opposed to the hoorah, storm the castle kind of moments that we get in a lot of military flicks. Mm-hmm. It was very. Things could go wrong any second now, kind of thing. You felt very intense, even though you knew how it was going to end.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but
I was hoping for a twist at the end, like he escapes, just darts out the back. Well, production-wise, I thought this is very by-the-numbers political thriller. Until that last half an hour, none of the directions stood out as Oscar-worthy. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were talking before this came out that Catherine Bigelow should get a Best Director Oscar and all this other stuff. Now that I've seen it, I don't agree with that at all. I understand why she didn't get nominated for Best Director. It doesn't stand out. I don't think there's anything phenomenal about the direction until that last half hour.
Right.
The Hurt Locker that she directed, that's a different story. I thought she did a wonderful job with that movie. This movie is just, I think she did what she intended to do. It's just not Oscar worthy. I thought up until that last half hour, nothing really did much for me. But the last half hour is very intense stuff. It was shot very well, even though you know exactly what's going to happen. There's some things I didn't know about the raid, which I found out after the fact were true, that they showcased, and that was pretty intense to watch. I got to admit, even though I know exactly how it ends, I'm sitting there watching, going, "Ooh, what's going to happen?" I actually thought he might make it out, which I'm telling you would be a great twist. So, what's your final verdict?
This is one of those movies I'm glad I saw, but I'll never watch it again. Kind of like The Hurt Locker. I watched that once, but I enjoyed it, had a good time with it, but I won't watch it again. What I did like about this movie is it's not, like I mentioned before, just a hoorah, go America movie. Mm-hmm. Especially the first half hour, 45 minutes or so, were very hard to watch for me anyway. Doesn't make you feel good about America with the torturing and that kind of thing.
I felt fine about it. Torture the fuck out of them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care. Look, they do showcase, at the very beginning of the movie, they showcase a lot of torturing. And obviously, America says that they've stopped doing that. And this is, the waterboarding and everything else. Now, I get why they had to do it. That's why I say I'm not fine with the concept of torture. I think you should treat everybody with civil rights. But they're on a war land. They're at war. I understand that things are different at war than they are here in a peaceful nation and everything else. So, but I do also agree that your principles are only important if you apply them when you think that it's least convenient. So,
yeah, it was hard for me to watch. So, I also thought the film was a little long, like you mentioned.
It was very long.
It was, and I do feel it was important to convey a lot of the feelings and frustrations that this character was having, but it didn't have to be that long. I was looking at my watch on more than one occasion. It's hard for me to give a really high score to a one-and-done kind of movie, but it does get some high marks for some genuine uneasy feelings throughout, and for that I give it a 6.50 out of 10.
Terrence Chastain deserves an Oscar now. I agree. She's the only person in this movie that deserves an Oscar. But I just don't see all the hype for Best Picture. I give it a solid 6.5 out of 10, and that's solely based on that last half hour and Jessica Chastain. I just don't think it's as good as people think. And you saw Gangster Squad?
I did.
How was that?
Actually enjoyed it a lot better than the reviews foretold a little bit, but I'll give you a brief synopsis.
Are you singing the song?
What?
No, that's Broken City.
Whatever.
Anyway, the story takes place in 1949 Los Angeles during the height of Mickey Cohen's reign as mob king. Josh Brolin plays Sergeant John O'Mara, who is tasked with assembling an undercover team to take down the operation of the infamous mobster, who is played by Sean Penn. He teams up with Ryan Gosling, Sergeant Larry Wooters, and a couple of others, including Michael Pena, Giovanni Ribisi, and even Robert Patrick, who I didn't even know was in this film until this started. In an attempt
Does he walk slowly like liquid metal?
Have you seen this boy? And they're supposed to bring Cohen to justice. Emma Stone also makes an appearance as Mickey's current arm candy, who falls for Wooters. That causes more drama in the story. Now, first off, I didn't expect I actually got pretty much what I expected out of this movie. No surprises in the story. Obviously, it's based on...
Everything's in the trailer.
Everything's in the trailer. And the movie's kind of been done a couple times before. Mm-hmm. I mean, somebody mentioned The Untouchables, that kind of thing.
Mobsters with Christian Slater.
But it's enjoyable to see the team's successful and actually in some cases unsuccessful attempts to bring down Cohen's operation and eventually the eventual showdown. But like I said, no surprises, pretty much cookie cutter. But it was still a fun ride getting there. So the acting, Sean Penn was really enjoyable to watch as Cohen. He does the little facial tic things, kind of like he in Dark Knight. Got to play Heath Ledger as the Joker. Mm-hmm. Those little things that he just made him that character. Sean Penn kind of does the same thing, and with his over the top anger really makes you want to see his downfall. Josh Brolin was great. He really sold the good cop badass, much like Russell Crowe did in L.A. Confidential. Has kind of got that vibe from him. And Ryan Gosling plays the same typical heartthrob he does in most of his current movies. And Emma Stone, I know we have a lot of controversy over this. She is gorgeous, but in my opinion, she handles the role pretty well. But I think her character's presence seems more of a distraction to the story that's going on, almost like the filmmaker said, we need to have a pretty face in here.
I hate when they do that. In these kind of movies, they always have that femme fatale. I don't see any need for it.
It played a part of the story, but it could have been easily written out. I don't know if that.
I bet you I can describe exactly what happens.
Yeah,
she becomes part of the pawn, and she gets involved, and it pisses all Ryan Gosling off, and he's going to come after you now. Yeah,
you're not far off. You're not far off. The surprise for me was Robert Patrick, because I actually leaned over to my wife when we watched it and said, "Have you seen this boy?" And she didn't even know it was him. It's funny, but he's the conifer-looking marksman. And I thought he was fantastic. He brought a certain edge and humor to the group.
He's a good actor, like a good character actor.
He really is. I enjoyed him a lot. As far as the production, I thought the film looked great when it was trying to be what it was, a period piece. But when it tried to pull in the high-tech shots of today, like the slow-mo and the close-up of the bullets and stuff like that, that just felt completely out of place.
They do slow motion, like action.
Like slow, like John Woo style.
Yeah, Zack Snyder, John Woo.
That stuff just felt like, come on, guys, this is a period piece. I mean, it just felt completely out of place. But despite the lack of surprises in the story or originality of the concept, it was an enjoyable ride getting to the end. Watching good guy cops play cat and mouse with a mobster you love to hate never gets old to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of fun. The distractions of the high tech and unnecessary characters kept me from loving it, though. And it also suffers from the one-and-done aspect I mentioned with the previous movie. No real interest in repeat viewings, but I'm glad I saw it. I gave it a solid $7 out of 10.
So you like that more than Zero Dark 30?
I did, because Zero Dark 30 had its moments very sparse. Like the last half hour was awesome, and it had a couple parts in between. This was a fun ride all the way, but it was very much a popcorn flick. One thing that bugs me, and we had a topic a few months ago about like cliche things in movies that bug you. And I saw this in 3 movies that I watched this weekend, both in the theater and on home video. When one guy comes up to another with a gun and the other guy's unarmed, and then guy with gun tosses the gun aside and they duke it out with their fists. I'm so tired of seeing that. I think that is done so much in movies. Just You've made it this far to finish this guy off or whatever, and then you're going to let him have a chance. It's just such a stupid concept.
It's so dramatic.
It is, and they
should have done that with Bin Laden.
In this one, it actually does play a part of the story a little bit, but still, it just needs to stop. But
okay, and real quick, you saw Dredd. You know what Dredd is about. Carl Urban, as Judge Dredd, takes on an apartment complex. We talked about it before. But.
Yeah, I actually saw this weekend as well. I was surprised at how straight up fun this movie was. The slow motion felt really right, as opposed to overused. I really wish I had seen it in 3D because some of those shots looked really promising. Mm-hmm. I do like also that Dredd never takes his mask off. You're kind of expecting that, and that was really well that they did that. Lena Headey as Mama was awesome.
Mama.
I'm convinced that she'll never be able to pull off a good guy character in anything. Between this and Game of Thrones, I'm convinced she's not a nice person in real life.
If you saw the Sarah Connor Chronicles, she could pull off.
Was she? Okay.
Yeah.
She is so good as a bad guy, she has to be an ass.
Seriously, I just can't. I don't think can't picture her smiling, but I gave it an 8 out of 10. That was a good ride.
That was fun. That's That's one that I will actually buy on Blu-ray just because that's dumb fun.
Yeah, and that's
not as dumb fun as The Call. That's a special kind of dumb fun.
I really want to see that one in 3D too. I don't know anybody owns a 3D TV.
You missed out.
Yeah.
Hey, Scotty, just to give you a little perspective on Lena Headey, she if you watch the Game of Thrones season 1, you watch her DVDs with her where she's doing the commentary. She's actually pretty funny.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Is she really?
Yeah. I mean, she is.
No,
she's got a very yeah. I'm lying, you motherfuckers. But she's got a very self-deprecating sense of humor, which is, considering how actually good-looking she is pretty humbling. It's pretty cool.
And Justin, real quick, you saw The Possession, which we talked about previously as well. What did you think?
It was okay. I mean, it's not the best possession exorcism type movie I've ever seen. It is the first one, of course, where it's a Jewish story and a Jewish exorcism. But, in moviedom, it's really not much different than any other exorcism I've ever seen. The performances were okay. The special effects were nice. Ultimately, it ranks fair to Midland as far as possession movies go. But I did enjoy watching the little featurette about the Dybbuk box and its history and all that. Apparently, the guy who currently owns it had a specially made box to put the Dybbuk box into that's lined in 24 karat gold, which is supposed to help contain the evil. I hope for his sake that he's right, or the guy who painted it didn't skimp on the quality of gold. But, 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it a 6. It was all right. I'll keep it in my collection, but if I'm going to watch a good exorcism movie, The Exorcist is the first up on my list.
Excellent. Let's go to box office. Zero Dark 30 opened number 1, which I was shocked at, honestly. For usually these real life,
Really?
yeah,
With this current, is this kind of is story-wise?
there have been several movies based on Iraq, and since September 11th, none of them have been hits.
Yeah,
So-
but this is Gankin bin Laden.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, Shankin bin Laden's a big one, but
Yep.
I didn't expect it to be so big, and it made $24.4 million. It was it's a big hit.
Now, at the end of it, do you see someone gank bin Laden?
Oh, you see a guy that looks
Spoiler
like
alert,
Bin
they get him.
Laden. Shh, he might make it. I'm telling you. I don't want people to misunderstand.
Understand.
He ends up on a raft with his girl named. Sorry. Okay.
And a tiger.
A Haunted House was number 2 with 18 million. That's the Marlon Wayans Paranormal Activity spoof. Man,
What is going on?
People love this shit. Gangster Squad number 3 with 17 million. That's actually not very good. If it holds on,
lost to Haunted House.
it did. It lost to a Wayans. They should all be ashamed.
Somewhere Ryan Gosling's his pretty blue eyes are crying a little bit.
He is. He's weeping. Django Unchained. And I wonder if somewhere one of the Bin Laden families yeah, we won. We're number 1. Because they're evil. Get it? Django Unchained, number 4, $11 million. Les Mis, $9 million. They've got 125 and 118 million respectively. Both of them the biggest hits for Christmas outside of The Hobbit. So now,
Can I take a second though? And earlier we were talking about Oscar, and I completely forgot to mention this. I cannot believe Leonardo DiCaprio did not get nominated.
I agree with you completely. He did not get a supporting actor nomination.
It's some bullshit.
And we can actually, real quick, just so you guys know what Best Picture was. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them, but just Best Picture. Amour, Argo, Life of Pi, Lincoln, Beasts of the Southern Wild, Silver Linings Playbook, Django Unchained, Zero Dark 30, and Les Mis. Those are your Best Picture nominations. So,
Well, I'm glad the HO Awards brought Leo some much-needed accolades. I bet that helps him feel a little
I
better.
agree. He was great, man.
He was.
I was really
Was good.
surprised. Him or Sam Jackson, I expected to get a nomination.
Yep.
But Christoph Waltz did, so there's something to be had.
He was awesome.
Texas Chainsaw 3D dropped 75%, one of the biggest drops ever, to $5 million for a $30 million total. 75%.
Cut its way to the bottom quick, didn't it?
Really?
All right, guys, we've got 4 films, all of them opening up on January 25th. First one we're going to talk about is John Dies at the End. Spoiler alert, I'm assuming. This is a dark comedy horror film written and directed by Don Coscarelli, based on the David Wong novel of the same name. The film stars Chase Williamson and Rob Mayers. Don't worry, I don't know who these guys are either. With Paul Giamatti, Clancy Brown, and Doug Jones. A new street drug that sends its users across time and space has one drawback. Some people return no longer human. Can 2 college dropouts save humankind from this silent, otherworldly invasion? Aaron, from listening to you, I imagine you did a shitload of drugs while you were in college. Would you have been tempted to indulge in this one the way you'd done everything else, or would the prospect of not coming back human turn you off?
That's the one thing I never did drugs, sorry. That's why.
Really?
I swear it.
You are the way you are, and drugs were not involved.
He's naturally fucked up.
Maybe you should have been taking some drugs.
It would have made things better.
Might have.
I really want to see it. It's a very cool concept. My brother has done nothing but rave about this. And I think, Justin, you and I are going to try and watch it before the next show. So hopefully we can come back with a review in the next episode. I'm really into seeing this. This is one of those movies where it looks like a real small undiscovered hit.
I don't know. The title is so fucking pretentious. I kind of hate the title.
I like the title. That's why I like it.
Ugh.
No.
Well, I think Scotty actually had something to say. I stepped on him.
That's all good.
Whatever, Scotty.
I'm surprised that Aaron wants to see this.
Why?
I got to ask you, would you have interest in this if it didn't say from the creators of Bubba Hotep at the beginning of
That
it?
definitely helps. Yeah. It definitely helps. It's one of the okay. Here's the honest to God's truth. My brother recommended this movie to me. My brother doesn't because he knows exactly the kind of movies I like and don't like. Mm-hmm. And anytime he recommends me a movie, it's generally something I'm really going to like because he doesn't do it very often. So if he tells me I'm going to like it, I have faith in him. How's that?
All right.
And it gets me excited because he never recommends shit. So when he does, I'm all over it.
If
I do the same to him, he could give a rat's ass. He'll watch it in 6 months.
And probably not like it.
Probably not like it.
All right, next up, movie 43. Now, this is a comedy directed by Peter Farrelly. The film actually features 12 different storylines, each one done. It says it's directed by Peter Farrelly, but actually each of these individual storylines is directed by someone else. So I'm not sure if there's some kind of overarching thing that Peter Farrelly's doing or if directed by is really just more produced by. We'll see. But some of the directors that are involved in this, you got, and these are Elizabeth Banks, Stephen Brill, James Duffy, Griffin Dunn, James Gunn, who did Slither, which, this is some fucked up shit. Bob Odenkirk and Brett Ratner, and it's going to star one of the biggest ensemble casts ever in a film, with including Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, Emma Stone, Brian, Chloe Moritz, Gerard Butler. Elizabeth Banks will also be starring as well as directing. Kristen Bell and Naomi Watts. Now, this sounds like a pretty hectic film with a laugh every 10 seconds or so. And of all of us, Scotty, I see you having the most fun with this one because you're not a pretentious douche like the other two. Are you in for this or what?
I'm actually intrigued enough to want to see it, which is weird because what am I trying to say? I'm confused by what this movie is. It doesn't make any sense to me. It looks like you said, a bunch of different stories that have nothing to do with each other appears. But I just want to go just to see what it's about more than anything else.
I don't even know if it's about anything.
In some cases, that's okay. If it's going to make me laugh, I'm okay with that. I mean,
that's what I get. I get the feeling it's going to be like watching In Living Color for an hour and a half. Or a variety, a variety show like that.
See, I think it's almost like an elaborated maybe Saturday Night Live skit. I mean, you've got Gerard Butler, like you said, Elizabeth Banks, Kristen Bell, Naomi Watts, Kate Winslet, Anna Faris. I mean, Jack McBrayer, Johnny Knoxville.
You
I mean,
Cavalcade stars.
Didn't he already go through all these names? Really, you need to do them again?
Well, he added some new ones.
Oh,
yeah, I added a few. I threw a few in there. Cockmocker. Just.
You say cockmocker?
I don't know what that is.
Look, I had like 4 different words I wanted to call him, and they all kind of came out at once. So
Like a
that's
car
how bad
pile
I'm
of
pissed off at him right now. Leave Schreiber, Sean William Scott.
Dude, will you move on? We don't need the call list.
There's a whole lot of motherfuckers in this movie, and they saw something in the script that said, you know what, I want to be a part of this. That's all that I care about. I don't even care how coherent the plot is. I would actually be more inclined if the movie was pretty much incoherent about like Scott ramblings.
Like a Scott review. The Red Band trailer for this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
It is really
film
funny.
or no film. So it looks hysterical. I think this is one of those films where the green trailer it really kind of does it a disservice because the funny is in just the cursing and the inappropriateness of the film.
Much like the Red Band Ted trailer versus the Green Band Ted trailer earlier this year.
Yes.
Last year.
Yes.
It will definitely get me there for curiosity's sake.
There's a lot of big name people that signed on for this for one reason or another.
Yeah,
that alone gets me in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, our third film is Parker. Now, this is a crime thriller directed by Taylor Hackford. It's starring Jason Statham and Jennifer Lopez. This film's adapted from a book called Flash Fire, which is the 19th Parker novel, written by Donald Westlake under the name Richard Stark. Now, Parker, played by Jason Statham, is a professional thief who doesn't steal from the poor or hurt innocent people. At the beginning of the film, his trusted crew ends up betraying him and leaving him for dead. However, he survives and follows them to Florida to get revenge. Disguising himself, he enlists the help of real estate agent Leslie Rogers, Jennifer Lopez, one of their targeted victims, to find out about the plan his former crew has made. Brian, I know you put up a tough front and all, but I have to imagine that deep down in there you've got a icky, gooey center like old Parker here. You interested in seeing this one?
Well, a lot of people, I'm being very humble here, have compared me to the good-looking Jason Statham.
A lot of
we
drug
both have a
blind
receding
people.
hairline. We both can grow the facial hair. We both do the 5 o'clock shadow thing pretty well. He's got a little bit better accent than I do. I will give him that. I mean, other than that, we're pretty much identical.
Oh, it's like doppelgangers. It really is.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had to pick anybody to play me in a movie, it would be Jason Statham.
I'm sure it would.
So
I'd pick Jennifer Lopez to play me. She got a big ass.
you know what? I just don't know if anybody has ever played in as many single word titled movies as he has.
That's a good point. It's kind of like Jason. It's like Steven Seagal with the 3-word titles from the 80s and 90s.
Right.
Alfred Justice
we've got Parker,
and Alfred, yeah.
We've got Save, Blitz, 13, War, Crank, Revolver, London, Chaos, Cellular, Collateral,
Snatch.
I mean, it's like okay, I got this movie. It's got one title. All right, boom, Jason Statham.
All right, it's been 5 minutes. Do you want to see this or not?
It's a Jason Statham movie. Absolutely.
Jason Statham 19. That's what they should call it.
No interest.
Whatever your criteria is. Absolutely.
I will tell you, if you're done comparing yourself to Jason Statham, which is funny, Jennifer Lopez, I love Jennifer Lopez. I think she's a total wench. I mean, she strikes me as just a diva from hell, but she's gorgeous, and I actually find her charming on film. And Jason Statham is just a cool-ass guy. And granted, this is going to be like every other Jason Statham movie, except Michael Chiklis is in it, Jennifer Lopez is in it, Taylor Hackford directed it, who's actually a really good director. I'm willing to give him a shot. I mean, and I'm actually willing to pay to see it in the theater. Normally, I would prefer to see this on video because I'm pretty sure I saw this movie in every other Jason Statham movie. But I'll go see this in the theater. Scott's like, nope.
I couldn't be any less interested.
You don't like Jason Statham?
I don't dislike him. I just the formula is boring to me by this point. It's the same thing over and over.
That's a brand new concept. This has never been done.
Really?
Ever in the
Because
history
this
of
is
film.
not
Because
like
Scott's
out of
seen
sight.
so many movies.
It should be new to you, Scott. That's what they're saying.
They're trying to hit the Scott Clark market.
Well, they missed the mark.
I did hear Kevin Pollak one time talking about Jason Statham, and the joke that he had for Jason Statham was that he's the person who can say, the fastest person in the world who can say, "Do you know what I mean?" when he says, "Nah, I mean." I thought it was funny. And I'm really hoping that this is the out of sight Jennifer Lopez and not, less talented, less interesting Jennifer Lopez. Because in that film, Out of Sight, she was spectacular.
You know what I mean, though? Because she, even though I don't,
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I don't like her as a person.
See how much we look like right now?
Shut up. You understand what I mean, though? I don't like her as a person, but
See, you
when
did it again.
Brian, I will punch you in your Jason Statham beard.
Let's move on.
Let's
to our
move
last
on.
film. All right, last one. Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. Now, this is an action-adventure horror film directed by Tommy Wirkola. It's a continuation of the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel by the Brothers Grimm, and it will be the first film from MTV Films to be released in IMAX 3D. Catching up with Hansel, Jeremy Renner, and Gretel, Gemma Arterton, 15 years after the traumatic incident involving a gingerbread house, the siblings have grown into vengeful bounty hunters dedicated to exterminating witches. Over the years, the siblings become expert hunters, famous for their proficiency at tracking and taking down their prey. Although still recovering from their ordeal, their work is relatively easy because of an because of an unknown reason, harmful spells and curses do not work well against them. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, fuck yes. I want to see this. I know I'm in the minority of people who loved Van Helsing, but this movie looks so much more like more of the same. Yes, please. May I have another? Are any of you guys with me on this one, or am I just going to be all by myself?
No, I'm with you 100%. I'm stoked to see this. I'm more stoked to see it after seeing the Red Band trailer than I am the Green Band trailer.
The Red Band's ridiculous.
The Red Band really kind of shows you what this movie's actually about, and it looks awesome. I'm all about seeing it.
I agree with you completely. It looks like Van Helsing Part 2.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a bad thing, though. I'm with Justin on that.
Well, yeah. But I have revisited Van Helsing. It's much better now than it was when I first saw it. But the trailer for this, yeah, I like it better now.
Really? Because I've recently watched Van Helsing, and while I loved it the original time that I watched it, it's not quite as entertaining as now as it was then.
Well, see, the first time I saw it, I was really hyped on it, and it did not live up to my expectations. So now I don't have those expectations. It was okay to watch. But I don't want to compare myself to Hugh Jackman like some people. So what I am going to say is that Jeremy Renner, I think, has been in way too many movies recently.
I think he's been in way too many podcasts.
I think Gemma Arterton, I love her. She's a very attractive woman. She's a great actress. I'm looking forward to seeing this just for her. Jeremy Renner is getting kind of bland to me. I think he doesn't seem like he changes who he is in any movie anymore, except from since The Town.
Yeah, he's Hugh Grant of action movies.
Yeah, since The Town, he's the same guy in every movie. Hawkeye is the same guy as the Bourne guy, and now he's the Hansel and Gretel guy.
The blow up army guy. What was that?
The Hurt Locker,
Hurt Locker.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There you go.
The blow up army guy. Brian's on fire for movie knowledge this episode. But I do want to see it because the trailer looks absolutely crazy, ridiculous, over the top.
Really? Am I the only one that's bothered by the fact that these two are brothers and sisters and they got different fucking accents?
No, I could care fuck less.
This is one of those movies you just don't care.
It's
worry about
fucking Hansel and
continuity.
Gretel. Who the fuck cares what their accent is?
I know we're dealing with like witches and vampires and gingerbread houses, but if you're brother and sister, you better have the same fucking accent.
Maybe they have split families, dude. Modern Family. You know?
They're not modern. They're in gingerbread houses.
You're really worried about continuity of Hansel and Gretel canon?
Yes.
Oh, God. Listen, Statham. You just need to shut up.
No, I mean,
Look, I'm about to crank your ass. No, man.
Are you guys a little worried about it being R-rated, though? Not from the...
I don't think it'll do well.
I'm worried
what I'm
about
saying.
accents. Do you think I'm worried about an R fucking rating right now?
No, I mean as far as how well the movie's going to do.
It's not going to do that well. I will predict.
yeah, it's already going to tank.
No,
I mean,
no.
this film is actually, 3 years old or so by this point? I mean, it's been sitting on the shelf for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a whole lot of fun, but I really don't expect it to do very well, gross money-wise.
Well, I don't expect you to do any well either. All right, guys, we have got these 4 films opening January 25th. John Dies at the End, Movie 43, Parker, Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. Of these 4 films, guys, which one are you most likely to head into a theater and go see? Brian, crank your pants.
Movie 43, because it's the one I've got the least...
Objection to?
Well, it's the one that,
At least
the other 3, I've got pretty much an idea of what to expect. Movie 43, I don't know. The fact that all of these big name people have signed on to play in this
Yeah, we heard all this earlier.
movie, all that
Scotty?
shit. Boom.
Scotty, which one you want to see?
Although I feel the same about movie 43, I still got to go with Hansel and Gretel. That just looks
You're a bitch.
too exciting and too just off the wall to not go see in the theater.
Scotty.
Aaron, completely nothing like Jeremy Renner or Hugh Jackman.
I really want to see John Dies at the End, but I'm picking Parker. Because of this is my
I'm
last.
sorry? What?
Yeah, I said it. It's my, as far as I'm concerned, last chance at a well pedigreed Jason Statham movie. I want to see what happens with it.
I'm going to go ahead and pick Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. So, Scotty, you and me, we win. Fuck these two.
We got to find a transporter so we can watch some of these movies together.
Cranking House, yeah.
Did you really just say that?
I've been watching a lot
Really?
of Star
A
Trek.
transporter,
Yeah.
Scotty?
Yeah.
Scotty
Yeah.
and transporter?
Yeah. Get it?
Are you going old school fucking Star Trek on us? Really? I mean, I know Justin's got a Woody right now, but that doesn't mean anybody else listening to this motherfucker has got a fucking Woody right now. Fucking
Brian. You need to get under control, man.
Oh my God.
Okay,
got my blood pressure up at this fucking point. Fuck.
Here's where you can hear, and people are listening going, they're not as funny as they think they are.
No, we're fucking not. But God damn it, you can hear us on iTunes, Zoom, Google, your Stitcher radio app. Give us a thumbs fucking up at this fucking point. Or any other fucking RSS feed you can find us. And also you can read us on fucking RockfordCollegeRadio.com Thursday afternoons from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Where they invented the rock.
Oh, wow.
What's this movie?
Okay, what's this movie? Each week we play ours or a listener suggests a clip from a movie. If you think you know what the clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com or send us a direct message on Twitter at @H_outsider. And we will announce those that got it correct on the air and give you a proper whole shout-out. Last week's answer was Justin's choice, and it was Blade 2. Those that got it right were Michael H., Brent R., and Sean M.
It
Congratulations.
wasn't that hard. We had 3 correct answers.
That's true. It was hard, though, man. A lot of people had no idea what that was.
Can you blush?
Racist.
I love that movie.
Okay, now this week it was Scott's turn. So if you think you know what the clip was, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. And those that guess it correctly, we'll give you a proper whole shout-out. Here's your clip.
Need some help?
Yeah, but no offense.
Oh, right, because I'm Amish, so I wouldn't know anything about your 69 GTO Judge. 455 big block, Ram Air, 411 Posse, something like that? Weird, that thing must have fallen straight from space. Well, good luck with your future ride, spaceman.
Hey, dude, wait up.
Okay, now let's go to the couch. The Killing has been officially saved and brought back for a 3rd season. Picking up a year later, apparently the detectives reunite for another case, even though the one cop apparently isn't even a cop anymore or something.
I couldn't be any less interested in this. That show didn't do a good job enough of keeping me to finish watching the 2nd season, much less start at a 3rd. I don't like the characters enough to to keep watching that show.
I don't understand why there's so many people clamoring, or there wasn't even really that many people. It was just like a small ground force clamoring for this show to come back. Mm-hmm. Why?
The main character and the one guy character were pretty cool. I will give you that. I did enjoy watching
Pretty
those.
cool does not warrant 14 weeks.
Exactly. And that show should have just quit while it was at... Well, I can't let's say quit while it was ahead, but they should have quit in the 1st season is what it should have done.
They should have solved the mystery and then ended it.
Yeah.
That's really what the kind of show it was.
Yeah.
But for all those people that liked it, it's back. It'll be coming back. I don't know when, but it'll be coming back soon.
Mm-hmm.
Should they just call it The Boring at this point?
They should. The napping.
And it's so weird because AMC's has so many good shows. And there's just one that just sucks.
It's probably because it cost them $14.
Yeah. We always got to have that one turd in the punch bowl, you know.
I don't want to party at your house.
I don't want to go to Justin's house for a party.
Just like, try some punch.
I'll pass.
The new Walking Dead showrunner, which we talked about a couple weeks ago that they got rid of the most recent one, is Scott Gimple, the screenwriter of the classic Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Am I allowed to worry about this now, Brian?
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
Did you just say yeah, as in I got this, or yeah, as in you should be worried?
A little bit of both here. Because, when the guy's greatest accomplishment is the canceled series Flash Forward on ABC.
Oh, my brother's crying right now because he loved that show.
My wife, too.
It had so much promise, and they totally fucked that up. But, yeah. When it's like your biggest accomplishment and you put this guy in charge, yeah, you got a little bit of cause to worry. That being said, AMC, with the likes of Darabont and was it Glenn Mazzara? Mm-hmm. Was that a guy that was just left? They put Darabont in charge, and then after he left, over creative difficulties or whatever, mm-hmm. and then Glenn Mazzara left for creative difficulties or whatever. Now this guy's in charge. AMC has their ideas of where they want this show to go. And up till right about now, they've been pretty good with whatever direction they want to go with it. I mean, I have to give them the credit for it. But even though they are the quote unquote, they're the studio, they are the man. They've been pretty good up to this point. That being said, this guy that they put in charge, where his biggest accomplishment is a fucking TV show on ABC that's been canceled, like halfway through the season, it's not good.
The showrunner basically is the one that spearheads the show in a certain direction, keeps writers on task for whatever the scripts are targeted towards, whatever their end game is. And basically, it seems to me by hiring this, he's kind of a lightweight compared to the other two. It seems like AMC just wants somebody that they can tell which direction to go without any debate.
Okay.
That's what he seems like. I mean, yeah,
that was the vibe that I got from the article.
Yeah, Flash Forward or Flashpoint, whatever the hell it was called. Ghost Rider 2, really? That's a claim to fame. He's not somebody with a very esteemed resume. Doesn't mean he can't do it, but it does seem like AMC's taking control of that show. Well, let's go to Netflix. Netflix has landed the Cartoon Network, TNT, and started advertising their original series lineup. House of Cards starts in February with Kevin Spacey. Hemlock Grove, which is from Eli Roth, in March. And Arrested Development Season 4 is going to start in May. I think it's getting its ground back.
Yeah, it's really interesting that they've decided to go the route of creating their own entertainment as well as offering the entertainment from other venues. And the 3 shows that they're going to be putting out there, all 3 of them I'm interested in, and I don't think any other network could say that. But Kevin Spacey and David Fincher both are one of the creative minds behind this House of Cards, which is an adaptation of a BBC miniseries of the same name. But of course, in this one, Kevin Spacey is playing a U.S. representative who's utterly ruthless and with his eyes on the presidency. So, with Fincher and Spacey behind this one, I'm more interested than you probably would have thought, since I'm not a big political guy, but I do like those 2 actors quite a bit. Hemlock Grove, it's a nice genre piece. It's set in a small town. A young girl is murdered, and the 2 suspects decide they're going to try and find the killer themselves. One of them is rumored to be a werewolf. I like Eli Roth, so I'm interested to see that. And of course, Arrested Development. If you don't like Arrested Development, I don't know if I want to know you. That show was one of the funniest TV shows to ever air, period. The fact that it didn't get a 4th season is a travesty. To have Netflix step up the way that they did and film, 10 episodes for this show, and then a movie coming up afterward?
It's 14, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
God almighty. And every episode focusing on a different character of the show, with some intermingling in the back, but each one focuses on a different one. Oh, I'm so thankful to them for bringing that show back and giving it another chance. So, 3 shows, all of them sound fantastic. Whatever, Netflix might have lost with some of their pricing changes and whatnot, they got me back. I am glad to have my Netflix subscription.
Now, what network was Arrested Development on originally?
Fox. It was originally on Fox. Fuck you, Fox.
Okay, so if it's going to go
They've killed more shows than I.
No, on this one I won't give you that, because the ratings were awful.
I don't give a shit. It was a good show, and they can suck my balls.
My question is, now that it's not going to a network television station anymore, it's actually going on Netflix, that they have to worry about censorship? Can they be a little more racy?
No, they can do whatever they want.
I would actually hope that they keep the little beeps and whatnot, because that can actually be funnier. Not hearing the word and just hearing that beep can elicit more chuckles than actually. I think if we were beeped, this show might actually be funny.
Especially this episode.
Especially this one with Brian was bleeped.
Bleeps are going to add to more sales.
Sales of what? IMO shirts?
You bleep the episodes. Whenever they come out on Blu-ray or DVD, whatever, people are going to buy it more.
That's true.
Yeah, this is all good news, and I'm really curious to see what they're going to be doing.
And the trailer, I watched the trailer for both House of Cards and Hemlock Grove, and even though I don't like Eli Roth, because I think he's kind of a hack.
The Jew Bear?
Yeah, exactly, the Jew Bear.
How dare you?
I think the show looks very clever. House of Cards I'm really looking forward to, because I love Kevin Spacey, so there's 2 shows, and apparently they're going to launch them all at the same time. Like, they're going to dump all the episodes for that season one day.
And isn't that fantastic?
Yes, that's great.
Letting the viewer decide the pace at which they will view the show. Thank you. Netflix.
Yeah.
I hope it works, and I hope it's profitable for them so they can keep doing it.
But catches on, yeah, exactly.
Now, did you see that? Real quick, Justified, the premiere and the most recent episode. There's been 2 episodes so far have aired. Brian, what do you think so far of the 4th season?
I like the fact that they're bringing in Patton Oswalt. He does bring a little bit of levity to it. Maybe a little bit more comedy than what they've brought in the past. But now the second episode I haven't watched yet.
Okay.
I do have it recorded. I just haven't got around to it yet. But with the first the season premiere, I still wasn't maybe it just didn't reach my anticipation level.
It seemed to me that the premiere was very much a season 1 episode where it was just a, robber of the week or whatever, or case of the week, and it just ended with whatever the arc is going to be for the season, where
right.
he finds a random bag in his father's home, and that's basically the mystery that's going to be in the second episode. They talk about it a little bit, do a little investigation, but nothing really comes of it. So I mean, you can tell it's going to be a season-long arc. Yeah,
right. And it's one of those things where you see, okay, well, there's a little stuff that was maybe, found in this location, or, there's a couple of characters that we haven't met before that they might have a bigger story arc later on in the series. Okay, but you're right. It really didn't feel like it was one of those things to where it just felt like it was, just another middle of the season episode.
Mm-hmm. Very much. I agree with you. So far, this season is starting off a little slower, but the show is very much a slow burn, so we'll see how it pans out. It's not like Sons of Anarchy where people are screaming and yelling and shooting right off the bat.
Right.
Let's go to DVD and Blu-ray, Scott.
All right, we're looking at releases for January 22nd. We've actually got 5 for this week, and none of them any of us have saw, which I think is the first time I remember this happening. That's kind of weird. But first one is End of Watch. This action movie is shot in a documentary style as the camera follows 2 LA police officers, played by Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena, as they go on an action-filled day against intense enemies. Next up is The Paperboy. This thriller, starring Zac Efron, Matthew McConaughey, and Nicole Kidman, follows a reporter who returns to his hometown of Florida to investigate a case involving a death row inmate. Next up is a comedy about 2 rival brothers called Nature Calls, and these 2 brothers go out on a scout trip with their sons. It stars Patton Oswalt and Johnny Knoxville. Next up is Fat Kid Rules the World. No, this is not a documentary about how Aaron rose to fame. This is a dropout comes to the aid of a chubby and suicidal high school kid by recruiting him as the drummer for his upstart punk rock band. This one is directed by Matthew Lillard. And last, we've got Universal Soldier: Day of Reckoning. At first glance, you might think this is just another Universal Soldier movie, which probably is, but this one has both Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren in it. Do we even really know what the plot is at this point? And that's it.
But I will tell you, I don't want to hear your pity party every time there's a Scottish stupid joke, because you make fat jokes all the time, and I'm not even fat. All right, let's go to Recasting the Classics, Justin.
Some of us are fat.
Yeah, see, you hurt Justin's feelings, so you don't get to pout anymore.
Yeah, but you don't have Matthew Lillard fucking telling you how to do your fucking job.
All right, Recasting the Classics. This is a segment where us hoes offer a classic movie to another hoe, give them 4 characters in that movie to recast with modern actors, no matter if they're changing gender, changing gender, changing ethnicity, whatever. They just have to be able to explain why they're casting who they're casting. Last week, Brian was given the Reservoir Dogs to recast. He was given Mr. Orange, Mr. White, Mr. Pink, and Mr. Blonde. So, Brian, take her away.
Oh, man. Oh, all right. So
I told you were going to bring the heat on this.
Yep.
Okay, and explain who each, or at least the actor that played him, because a lot of people don't know who's who.
Yeah, Mr. Blonde was played by
Michael Madsen.
Yeah, he's a good-looking fella, kind of charming. You want to like him, but you realize he's kind of a dick.
He's kind of a psycho.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of flip the script a little bit here. I'm going to inject a little bit of estrogen here, especially for our lady listeners out here. I'm going to recast everybody, all of these men, Mr. Orange, Mr. White, Mr. Pink, Mr. Blonde, and I'm going to
What is that? The
Recast
slow
them.
clap from
That
high
is
school?
fucking applause.
I'm recasting
Brian is bringing it. Come on.
I'm recasting them with women. Miss Blonde. I was torn here. I ain't gonna lie. I was torn here because I recognize Carrie Ann Moss and Cameron Diaz. Carrie Ann Moss brings the cold, slither, snaky feel that Mr. Blonde has. But Cameron Diaz can bring the crazy.
Okay.
She can bring that crazy-eyed. But I opted with Carrie Ann Moss.
Good choice, because Cameron
Good
Diaz
choice.
was crazy.
Yeah.
The choice.
She, Memento was the one that was the role that's kind of stood out for me with Mr. Kind of fulfilling that Mr. Blonde psyche. So, Carrie Ann Moss, I'm going to bleach her hair. We're going with Mr. Blonde here. So for Mr. Pink was Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
Kind of a bug-eyed. He's that crazy eyes guy that quote unquote rabbit ears here. That guy in every movie, especially Adam Sandler movies. Mm-hmm. Toni Collette, she's a little bit, Mr. Pink has got a little bit of age on him. He's been around the block. He's done he's done all the jobs in the past. He's that dependable guy you can count on. He's going to get his role done. Toni Collette is that kind of girl. She's got a little bit of age on her. She's been around the block. If you've ever seen her in her show, I think it's on Showtime, or it was on Showtime, called United States of Terror.
Yeah.
Right. She can play a number of different roles. I think that really kind of slots her right in for Mr. Pink, or in this case, Mrs. Pink, Miss Pink, Miss White. All right, this was a pretty tough one to do because Mr. White was played by the illustrious Harvey Keitel, who is one of my favorite actors there. Parker Posey.
Okay. That's interesting.
Not
Look,
bad.
All right, here's my rationale. All right, she's kind of known for her comedy. At this point in life, she's a bit of a middle-aged. She's a bit smarmy. She does have that strength that says, hey, look, I've done this before. I know how to get this job done.
Blade Trinity, she was kind of tough in that.
Absolutely. And it's even been a few years since then, so she's got a little bit more experience. She's got that bluntness. She's got that directness. I'm not fond of her. I think she's a bit overrated as an actress, personally.
I think she's a bit over the top. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I love Parker Posey, so you will get no hate from me.
I like Parker Posey. I just don't see her playing the very calm and cool Harvey Keitel role. Sorry.
No, well, but he does start going into that overacting bit when what's his name gets shot.
Shh! Spoiler alert. Scott probably hasn't seen it.
Roth.
So that's going to lead me to Mr. Orange, or in this case, Miss Orange. I'm going with
Now, who was Mr. Orange?
Mr. Orange was Tim Roth.
Okay.
It's a little bit of in the year that Reservoir Dogs was made, which was a little about 21 years ago. Just barely makes our cut for this segment. It was played by the doe-eyed and very Quentin Tarantino loved Tim Roth. I'm going with Anna Kendrick.
What?
Huh.
You're out of your fucking skull.
Look,
No, you're wrong. Bringing
it.
the heat doesn't
Yeah.
include bringing the stupid heat. That's just dumb.
No,
she's
Listen,
a fantastic actress.
She is not.
She is a fantastic actress. She's got the big-eyed, doe-eyed freaking look that Tim Roth has. If you go back and you watch,
Good. Maybe they could lip sync a Madonna song before he dies.
Motherfucker, she's also an Academy Award nominated actress from Up in the Air. She knows how to act.
I
So don't
disagree.
just say take pitch.
I have
perfect
seen
and judge her on
her.
that alone.
Shush! I believe I can have my opinion, and I've seen her, and she does not as good as anywhere near Tim Roth caliber. I'm sorry.
Well, these people don't have to be as good as they are. They just need to be able to fill that role.
And she can't fill that role, in my opinion.
Well, God, man,
Really,
how
she
much wrong
can't.
can you
She
do?
cannot lay there and act like she's bleeding for an hour and a half.
Yes, that's what he does. That's what he does in the movie.
Really,
He
She
carries.
can't do
He
that.
carries the
She
whole
cannot
movie.
stand in a men's bathroom and say, "You know what? I'm telling the story about
I got
smuggling
sweet.
drugs in front
Right.
of 4 fucking sheriffs and a German fucking shepherd."
No, I don't see it. Sorry.
Really?
I don't. I think the Cameron Diaz made both Scott and I go, what? But this one makes me go, fuck that.
I like Cameron Diaz only because it was such out of the box thinking, but you made the proper choice. But I agree with you on all these. Fuck these dudes.
You know what? If I got Justin's okay on all, especially all four of them.
All four, you knocked it out.
Well, then it must be true.
That's all I got. You know,
you're in the 95%, man.
Absolutely.
Oh wow!
You know?
All right, Brian, throw it to whoever you're throwing it.
You know what? Because I love Justin so much, and because he's got my back on all these fucking picks, I'm sending it to him. And I know Justin loves musicals so much. All right, here's your movie, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh shit!
Here's who you are recasting in 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks to think about it, so
I better bring it.
Bring it, baby. Bring it.
Okay.
Obviously, Dr. Frankenfurter, played by the illustrious Tim Curry. Brad Majors, Janet Weiss, and the criminologist. If you remember him, he was the old guy sitting in the library that was like explaining the story as it went along. So,
You're actually gonna make me rewatch that just so I can get the feel for these people again. All right, I can do that.
Hey, look, it's older than 20 years old. Whether you like it or not, it is a classic. It is a cult favorite, and it's a very fun movie to watch, even if you do have to watch it again. So,
all right, well, come back in 2 weeks for that. Now let's go to From the Outside In. This week the topic is the internet killing film? From TV to movies, the internet is abuzz with anything and everything, from things that might happen to things that could happen, all the way to things that will never happen. We're also wrapped up in it. We want to believe it. Now, this has happened to us several times on the show where we've talked about like Star Wars rumors. That's a big one. Just this week, they were claiming Zack Snyder was going to be doing a spin-off Star Wars movie. They've talked about J.J. Abrams doing it. All this stuff keeps getting denied. So my question is this: are these news items, spoilers, tidbits, sneak peeks, and everything else just ruining film and TV for you guys today? Justin, you can go. I mean, that really hit you hard because you were really excited
absolutely. About it. Gone is the day when you could walk into a movie without knowing every last little bit about the casting of it and the production of it and everything else. Every trailer shows just about everything you could want to see. Every website is just ravenous for new bits of info to feed their readers. So they're posting anything and everything, whether it's, well sourced or not. It's like chum in the water for us geeks when we're trying to search for this info. And really, it makes me wonder, why do we want to spoil so much of our entertainment these days by knowing these things? I remember back when episode 1 came out, and there was a huge fervor, and I was a part of it, that one of the song titles in the soundtrack that came out before the movie was titled Qui-Gon Jinn's, I think, Honorable Death or something, telling you right there in the fucking soundtrack this major character dies. And so I was, and I think rightfully so, pissed off. But now we know damn near everything about a film. And it's to the point now where if there's a movie that I really love and want to see, I almost want to start avoiding these things. It's like I'm in a battle. One part of me wants to avoid it. The other part of me just cannot help but rubberneck and look at everything that's posted about it. It's a weird time we're living in.
I feel bad for fanboys because, especially when things are this huge and, the properties have gone over there. You've had this with Marvel in the past. Now you're having it with Star Wars. You have it with every famous genre. Lord of the Rings, I mean, they were talking back and forth about what was going to happen with that for years, for the Hobbit sequel and everything else. And it finally happened. But I feel bad for the fanboys because they get so excited on it. These things become truth for about 4 days. And then somebody, comes in and denies it finally. If you're lucky enough to get a denial. And all it does is just crush everything that they're excited about. And I don't think that's very fair. And also, I mean, they're constantly putting things online. They're constantly showing pictures of movies and spoiling things without you even really getting a heads up that it's a spoiler. Golden Globes is a prime example. I was watching that. It's an award show. And somebody went up there and they actually spoiled the major character death for the season 2 of Homeland, which isn't even on DVD yet.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I was very ticked off about that. Like, oh, hey, well, I'd like to thank so-and-so because, even though he dies in the end of the series, he's still family to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, that ticked me off. Because I thought about you, because I know you don't watch them as they air. You watch them 8 months down the road, 10 months down the road, whenever they're released on Netflix or DVD, whatever. So that ticked me off. It does ruin it. I mean, there's no way around it. It does ruin it. I mean, it's just, there's so much, if you want, but here's the caveat though. If you want to know what happens or what is going to happen with a movie that's upcoming, you can find out. If you dig enough, you can find out. And that's what it boils down to though, unfortunately, is how aggressive are you with wanting to know with what's coming up with the next Star Trek movie.
That was kind of my argument. All this information is readily available, but you don't have to look at it. Justin made the point that it's really difficult to kind of keep away when it's out there up for grabs, really easy to get to, but it's not the information's fault that it's available. It's the fact that we can't keep ourselves away from it, if that makes sense. I also think that the other thing that is ruining it outside of just the information itself is that there's no distinction given in information that we read on the internet as to whether or not it's fact or whether it's speculation. This article we talked about this past week about Star Wars and Zack Snyder, the article that put it out flat out said this is a fact. This is for real. This is happening. There was no mention of this might be happening or it's rumored or there's talk about this happening. The article pretty much laid it out that this is happening and then just kind of debunked it. With all that said, I think that kind of stuff still makes for fun conversation. As a fanboy of stuff like Star Wars and Star Trek and Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff, it's fun to think about things that we want. Just because we don't get it doesn't ruin the experience of other films for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like the good conversation. I like having, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a mashup of these characters and that kind of thing? Just make the distinction, and I'm fine with I'm okay with all of it.
I just want people to stop putting everything on the internet and stop every wild idea. And I don't understand how so many outlets claim it's fact just because somebody throws it up on their site. Some little nobody site throws it up and then bam, it's spreading across the internet. And everybody's, oh, did you hear that? And I've been following movies and stuff long enough to know when a lot of it, or to feel like I know confidently when something's bullshit and when it's actual substantial. But when you start talking about, oh, yeah, so-and-so is going to be doing this crazy spin-off 5 years down the road, Disney themselves actually, and I can't find the link for it right now, but Disney themselves actually put a press release because people were rumoring the Star Wars TV series and some of the options for that. And they had to actually issue a press release saying, we're not actively pursuing anything right now except Episode 7. They had to actually, put that in writing because they're still trying to get their bearings from the merger and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, but people are still speculating, still going crazy, still saying this and that, and it gets picked up like that. Any little rumor comes up for Star Trek, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings, any of those big series, and it just takes off like wildfire.
But it's not difficult to make that distinction. That site could very easily have said, hey, we heard this might be a possibility. And I understand rumors happen. That's how rumors, we've all played telephone. It happens that way. But the speculation is still fun. It's still fun, something to dream about. I know Justin probably wet his pants about the possibility of Zack Snyder doing a Star Wars thing. And when you hear something that's...
indeed I did.
And when you hear about
God, slow-mo lightsabers.
Oh, could you fucking imagine? And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's like I can't go on Facebook without me or someone else posting these rumors and bits of news.
Like you say, without me.
I've done it. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say I'm so above posting news about movies and TV shows that I love. I'm guilty of it just like everybody else. And unfortunately, it's just, you can't get away from it as much as I think we are long past the day where we can avoid this sort of thing anymore. It's a 24-hour news cycle. The internet does not sleep. It must be fed. This is how it is.
It's too much. And I do agree. I mean, I've had some debates over when it's okay to put stuff up on Facebook. I don't think as a post you should be putting up a spoiler for something. I think if you're talking about something and the spoiler is in that thread, and it's your own dumbass fault for clicking on it. But if you put something in there, that, hey, spoiling exactly what happened on last night's episode of this and that, or this series or something, that's just a dick move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but
look, if you're absolutely. If something happened in the episode the Monday night and Tuesday morning, or even Monday night, you're posting. I'm surprised that person A was killed by person B.
Mm-hmm.
You're an asshole. Look, I'm sorry. You're a fucking asshole for ruining it for the people, because nowadays we've got DVR, and that translates into we watch TV on our schedule. Whatever your schedule is, so be it. You may not watch it. You may not watch Sons of Anarchy from 10 p.m. or 9 p.m., whatever time zone you live in. You may not watch it from that point, from 10 till 11. You may watch it on fucking Friday evening from 8 to 9, because that's what works for your schedule and what's going on with your life.
That's why I had to stop watching stuff like The Soup and shows like that routinely will pull excerpts from that week's television shows. I don't want shit spoiled. And TV shows that do that are like, watching extra the day after an episode aired and they've got people on there and they're talking all about last night's episode. I didn't watch it last night. So I cannot watch those sorts of shows anymore.
I mean, I agree with you. I caught a headline from, it's been a few months back, but it was regarding American Horror Story, the end of the first season. And it was like, spoiler alert here. So if you're in the middle of watching American Horror Story, please, skip ahead 15 to 20 seconds. But American Horror Story, it was like, Jessica Lange dies or something like that. I forget exactly who died, but the point was like, shit, I've watched like 8 or 9 episodes. Fuck. Now I know who fucking dies.
I was on Entertainment Weekly's website, and they said what happened with one of the characters on the new season of American Horror Story. I hadn't watched that episode yet, and that whole storyline was completely spoiled because they just shot it right up there. It's like, can you fucking... But then again, should these sorts of sites and magazines and all that, should they have to hold back their reporting and their deadlines? For me, I don't. It's a weird thing. The selfish me says yes. The realist in me says, well, just because I waited a week or two to watch it doesn't mean everybody else did. But maybe just be more careful in your headline title.
Maybe your work schedule. Let's say you worked a normal job. You're not an illustrious author that.
Right, I'm selling furniture.
Selling million. That you're not the multi-million copy seller author that you are. Right.
Right.
Of course. So let's say, you know what? I was out, for a trade publication deal. I was out last night. I had American Horror Story recorded. I wake up with a hangover from the massive party celebration of my novel.
Right.
Last night. Right. So you know what?
Playboy Mansion.
Right. Exactly. So I'm in the Grove, and I'm. And I'm sitting here eating my frosted mini wheats in a bowl, and I'm watching on the big screen that's in the Grove last night's copy of American Horror Story. I don't want to know beforehand what happens the next day. I don't want to pull up my Hollywood news information and realize in the fucking title of the article that Jessica Lange burns in hell for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't want to know that. I don't want, if now you can also, there's a billion different ways you can create intrigue for that episode other than ruining what happens.
Couldn't agree more, Brian. We've talked about it before, the people that still continue to, they find out a spoiler and they want to ensure that everybody else is spoiled too. So they post it on their Facebook page. I've encountered that. And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I don't understand why you'd be an asshole like that.
There's a petty motherfucking assholes out there who say, you know what? Did you see last night's episode of 24? I can't believe that so and so blew up so and so. Oh my God! I'm gonna do that to my ex-girlfriend because you know what? She cheated on me. Whatever. Okay.
Brian's really feeling the topic.
I've never been so involved in this fucking podcast.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it for the Hollywood Outsider this week.
Are we done?
Yeah. I think we're done.
Are you done? Because I'm not done.
We'll carry this over to the Hollywood Outcasts.
Make sure you stay through the credits for outtakes. Go to thehollywoodoutsiders.com for more podcast info. You can watch the trailers that Brian talked about earlier. Facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Email us feedback at thehollywoodoutsider.com. Tell your friends. Subscribe on goddamn iTunes. Fucking Zune. Bitch and Google. Listen on your fucking Stitcher radio app or any plain old RSS feed. Or RockfordCollegeRadio.com Thursdays from 4 to 6. And you can't have Rockford without the rock. Thank you. I want to thank each of the podcast.
Damn it, I couldn't have said it better myself.
I want to thank each of the podcasters. Brian fucking Williams, thanks for being here.
Motherfucker, you goddamn right.
It was apparently his meth habit is finally out. Justin McCumber, the author of A Minor Magic.
Oh, man, this is some fucked up shit.
And Scotty Clark, who's remaining calm.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. And remember, guys, the next time you go to a theater, buy fucking popcorn.
Motherfucker, right. Fuck.
Okay.
Fuck, man.
What's this movie? Each week we play ours or listeners.
Bring up Battleship.
Oh my God, I feel like I'm about to be called into a human resources meeting. Oh shit. The fucking outtakes are going to be priceless.
I wasn't recording any of that.
You fucking dick.
I gotta work at 5:30. I don't care!
Don't get me started again.
We've slept since then.
Keep your mouth shut, fat boy.
God, I so wanted to say something. I'm glad. I'm glad somebody did because I felt like it too, and I said no. I'll be nice this time. But thank you, Justin.
You guys don't understand. Like he gets pissed. I'm the only one within range of striking.
I know
distance.
you're the whipping dog. You're that puppy that takes the beating just because the husband's mad at the wife.
This is the Hollywood Outsider, a weekly entertainment podcast where this week we're reviewing Zero Dark 30 and Gangster Squad. We're going to look at upcoming releases Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters, Movie 43.
Oh, shit, I forgot to do the question. Just now, as soon as you start talking about the movie, I'm like, oh, fuck, I didn't do that.
Oh, God. Oh, I think I might have just wet my pants.